Curtis, DIYer.
DIYers, I don't know if you've seen the news, and I know this is probably not news that excites a lot of the creatives that are in this environment, but I promise you, I'm going to walk you through this just so that you're in the know. OpenAI, the company that is responsible for ChatGPT, has been doing all kind of developing in many different spaces. However, now they're moving forward into the music AI generating space, the same space that Udio and Suno occupy. OpenAI, which is obviously a company with a whole lot more funding and support, these are the type of things that you got to look at because it smells of the early days of Spotify. They got relationships that sometimes these other companies don't have. I'm gonna let my guy here explain it here on Sync Money. Pay attention to this.
OpenAI just announced that they're training an AI music generator that's going to rival and compete against Suno. And there's some really crazy shit that's going on behind the scenes. Check this out. Now, the biggest clue about how this model will actually be trained comes from OpenAI itself. They were already quoted saying it would be impossible to train today's leading AI models without using copyrighted materials.
Impossible. Which is why a lot of these companies choose to go rogue and then deal with lawsuits afterwards because, hey, let's just get to it. Once we get to it, we can deal with that stuff in court because ultimately they think that the label's plan is to try to strike some kind of licensing deal or partnership so that they can enjoy in the subscription money that this technology is generating off of their copywritten music.
They know that if they only use public domain music or individual catalogs, their model can't compete with companies like Suno or Udio. Here's where it gets wild. Suno and Udio, who are two of the biggest AI music startups, are being sued by all three major record labels right now for copyright infringement. And some people in the industry believe that that's not just about punishing them, it's about positioning them to be able to partner with OpenAI.
This video was 2 days ago. I should probably bring it to your attention. In case you missed the last story, Universal Music just settled one of those lawsuits, not with Suno, but with Udio. They settled it, and it says Universal Music is not only going to settle the lawsuit, but they're also going to partner up with Udio. Whoa.
So if OpenAI and the major labels got together and they said, hey, let's bury these smaller startups in huge lawsuits in court and just drag those out, while OpenAI in the background the whole time is building up their product and getting ready for it to launch to market. And then once OpenAI finishes building their system, they launch with the full blessing and full partnership of Universal, Sony, and Warner.
You know who had the full blessing of a Universal because the other labels wouldn't rock with them? Spotify. Lucian Grange and them saw some potential in Spotify and said, hold on. They won't take meetings with you, Mr. Daniel Ek. Tell me a little bit more about this. So it's no mystery to me that UMG is one of the first ones to strike a partnership with Udio. Oh boy.
In exchange, those majors would get an equity stake and access to the technology that's going to define the next generation of music.
Remember when UMG was like, this is a travesty. We trying to protect our artists. Hey, for real, we ain't trying to protect these niggas. We trying to make sure we get, come on, just cut a little money, man. You come on, man. You trading off the music that we own, man. This man, give me $20. Give me $20. Protecting our artists.
Make it all possible, those same labels are investing in startups that are working on attribution tech. Systems that can track which songs influenced each AI output so that fractional royalties can be paid out automatically. So when OpenAI finally unveils its music generator, don't be surprised that it's not just trained on every song in history, but it's also backed by the very labels that used to call that copyright infringement. The only thing that's going to matter in this music AI space in the coming years is who owns the data, who owns the market, and who owns the distribution. And OpenAI is set up perfectly to execute on all three of those.
You gotta laugh to stop from crying because you've seen this play all over. I highly suggest that if you got Netflix, there is a hidden documentary that they don't promote that is about the rise of Spotify. Go watch it now. With the context you have about this story, go watch that documentary. It's a seven-part documentary. You know, it does a thing where it's like the English voiceovers that don't really add up, but it's still a great story to understand how vulturish Spotify was. And, you know, how it almost didn't launch off until good old UMG. This is the actual article about it that's here on the TechCrunch.com. It says OpenAI reportedly developing new generative music tool. OpenAI is working on a new tool that would generate music based on text and audio prompts. Once again, think of this as the people behind, from the makers of ChatGPT, we present to you. Such a tool could be used to add music to existing videos or to add guitar accompaniment to an existing vocal track, sources say. It's not clear when OpenAI plans to launch such a tool or whether it would be available as a standalone product as opposed to integrating with OpenAI's ChatGPT. To me, what I see here is, well, they got to take it through some testing ahead of time. I wouldn't be surprised if the damn thing is already done. I wouldn't be surprised if UMG has already tested this particular beta version of this technology and they're just telling the public now. They're just making it a press release. I think the timing of this and the debates that have been going on about rap's absence from the charts, the Billboard charts, I think that this has a lot to do with the timing of that, the popularity about that. And you know, nowadays, algorithms can make any story go viral. I don't think that's by coincidence these stories are going off at the same time. One source told the information that OpenAI is working with some students from the Juilliard School to annotate scores as a way to provide training data. Is it a stretch for me to say that's just like the new version of sweatshops? At Juilliard, they over there. While OpenAI has launched generative music models in the past, they predate the launch of ChatGPT. More recently, the company has been developing audio models focused on text-to-speech and speech-to-text. Other companies with generative music models include Google and Suno. Boy, oh boy, that's what's getting ready to come down. There will be people who will come into this video, who will not get to this point of the video, who can't wait to leave comments about, ha ha ha, losers, get with the future. I'm already living in 2072. You guys are like dinosaurs. I know you're here. Hey. Sit your musty ass down, all right? You prompting freak. Relax. I don't have a problem with the technology existing. It's already existed. My thing is this. I don't trust the way that the music industry is going to embrace and abuse not only the works of AI, but the way that they're going to use the people that are responsible. As you saw in that video, or you saw in the article, there is no possible way this technology thrives without combing through copywritten music that they had no permission to get in the first place. Now, guess what's happening in the music industry? While we're sitting up here debating charts, this is what the CEO of the Grammys, Harvey Mason Jr., had to say about AI and something he noticed when going into studios.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Demiz. I have not been in a session in the last 12 months that AI was not used.
The CEO of the Grammys just said, I have not been in a studio session in the last 12 months. No studio session where AI was not used. I'm going to give you some insight as a producer that was very, very surprised to look at how lazy a lot of these record producers are. I would never forget the day I walked into a studio. I saw an artist, another producer. I've seen this many a times, but this part was just so egregious. He was like, hey, man, you want to cook up some more music? He told the artist, and the artist was like, hell yeah, let's cook up some music. This nigga proceeded to bring out 2 loops that he did not create. And he was like, how you like that? The keyboard was collecting dust. He clicked it. He said, that's how we do it. I got my own process. Seeing how lazy that process was and seeing how many people. Thing is, music doesn't need to be difficult in order to be good, right? That's not what I'm getting at. But when I saw how lazy some people are, it made this whole, you don't see the genius and simplicity look very different. It made me stop trusting in the artists or the producers I used to look up to until I started realizing how much of a collaborative experience this is and how many people don't actually get credit for the work that comes out. The whole time I'm thinking this person's a genius. Well, we don't get linear notes anymore like we used to with the CDs. Meanwhile, there's 19 writers. It's 42 producers, 12 of them just to get a snare. That's the normal process. Imagine how much lazier it's gotten since AI has gotten to the conversation. No specifics on how it's being used. Maybe it's AI engineering, who knows? Maybe it's little tools, who knows? But if you're talking about full-on sessions where the writers are, did you type a better prompt in Chat GPT rather than writing? Insane. Continue, Harvey Mason Jr.
There's not been a session that I've been in that somebody wasn't using AI to end a chorus, to come up with a beat, to write some lyrics.
Okay, got my answer. For a chorus? Okay, maybe you got stuck at some writer's block. I don't excuse it, but maybe the struggle is part of the process, by the way. That's how I feel. But everybody doesn't feel it the same way. For the beat, what's the purpose of the $1 million equipment you got in front of you? Niggas call themselves producers. What do you produce? What do they do in the studio? Why are you in the studio? Y'all can just email each other music.
Figure out what some different melody versions could look like, to try different styles of production across some chord change.
To figure out different melody ideas, the hell is all these keys for? I was scammed. Niggas is in there trying to figure out different melody ideas. I don't know. How about press different keys?
AI is being used and is omnipresent in the creative process right now, at least at the highest levels.
Omnipresent. That's what they say about God.
And I can tell you that as much as I would like to resist it and make sure that human creativity is preserved, because that is part of my job at the Academy, to
It don't sound like they're resisting too much. He sounded excited to explain that.
honor human creativity, I have to tell everybody, I would not have a clear conscience if I didn't say this, that AI is going to disrupt the business.
I have no doubts that AI is already disrupting and will disrupt the business. My issue is, do we trust it in the hands of this same industry that's trying to convince you that hip hop that y'all love so much, that ain't worth shit. But not taking accountability for the shit product they put out for years. Well, that's not the only thing that happened. Oh boy, more. I'm sorry. I promise I'm gonna tie it up in a nice bow. But shout out to my guy Ryan Schmidt, a music lawyer. He calls out BMI and ASCAP, who also have new AI policies about registering AI music.
BMI, ASCAP, and SOCAN just did something super irresponsible. They announced new guidelines for registering partially AI-generated works. I think we're going to see a lot more AI fraud because of this announcement. To be clear, this policy doesn't actually change anything. There are AI creators who are already registering their publishing, but what this did was signal to all AI creators that publishing is something that exists and you should go collect your royalties. Why I think it's irresponsible is because the law is so unsettled. The second U.S. copyright report on AI said that there needs to be substantial human involvement for any work to be copyright protected.
Does anybody want to work anymore?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Does anybody want to work anymore? And I get that. I have peers that use AI samples, and I get it. Like, some of it does sound worth sampling, but the laws haven't caught up. The lawsuits are not done yet. And y'all already pushing forward? Like, it's not like it's a product that you're going to run out of ideas for, right? And in 2 years, if you say all the laws catch up, you can still do what you was going to do, but now you're protected by these ever-changing laws. I look at this and I'm like, well, I'll be damned.
That this was a very technical case-by-case evaluation that was better suited for a judge and jury to determine. One of the biggest problems is that we are relying on the creators themselves to self-identify what works are and are not created by AI. It's based on an honor system.
Hey man, just trust the industry and trust these new artists who've never had to go. They have never had to go through any proper training. They've never had to go through the process of even becoming an artist. Just trust them. Hey, Source, trust me, bro. I get that these companies, and I'm part of ASCAP, like I'm an ASCAP member. I get that they're trying to get ahead of this. You got to get ahead of this, especially as a company that's that important. My thing is, if it's so much confusion, why is it so much speed in getting it out into the general public?
Said that this work was human created. That might as well be fact. There's very little oversight. And my concern here is that we are now in this new age where simply saying that you own something is the same as legally owning it.
Now for the people who will be like, you got AI in this? Nuh-uh. I don't got no AI in this. Is that illegal? Is it illegal? Is there a law right now? I'm sure there'll be something that'll be more clear, hopefully, sometime soon. Is that actually illegal? On that subject, though, shout out my guy Kato, because I think Kato has been a really balanced voice. It's a well-known producer. He made an interesting point here that may get some of you AI fans excited, and some things to think about, especially for those of you that are like, man, this is all good news, baby. The game is changing for me. I can finally have my time in the limelight. AI, baby, that's what I am. Hold on just a second. Unclench your butt cheeks. Hold on just for a second.
We are about to witness an entire new category of musicians and producers who specialize in creating AI-generated samples. The same way that all these loop makers are cooking up melodies in FL Studio or Ableton and playing instruments and using their own human creativity, and then sending out loop packs to bigger producers and getting placements like that, I believe that we're going to see a whole new generation of AI prompters.
AI prompters. You know, there used to be a time back in my day. There used to be a time where you go to a hip hop show and like you wear a backpack and you might have a keyboard coming out that backpack and people like, oh, or like an MPC. People like, oh shit, you make beats? Oh, you got that model? Oh, let me see how you like the pads. What does a music prompter bring to a show? This your new keyboard? I've been an AI prompter for like 5 years now. Do you play an instrument? No. I am a non-musical AI prompter.
Who just know what sounds good. Maybe they're a music nerd, or
it's gonna be a whole lot of those, and not the cool nerds. Not the cool nerds who got great taste in music. It's gonna be the nerds that's gonna be like, so you don't want to submit to my playlist on Spotify anymore, huh? You don't want to shorten your songs for me. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Let me take from your music and then prompt this in, and there it is. That's all I wanted you to do. It's not that difficult.
You know, they're really, really big fans of music, but don't even play an instrument or don't know how to produce a record, never been in the studio with an artist.
If you go work at a fast food restaurant and you don't even make any sandwiches, you don't even make any burgers, you don't fry any fries, you don't fill up any cups, you'd be unemployed. What are y'all doing what do y'all want to make music for? How you want to make music but don't want to make music? What are y'all here for? Like, what do you do?
But they know how to prompt AI to create the craziest samples that you've ever heard.
I know how to recall music that I never had to learn how to make, and I know how to steal it by coming up with descriptive words that steal it without saying a name. Bet.
And I think within the next year or maybe two, we're going to see the world's first #1 multi-platinum, maybe even diamond record from one of these musicians or producers that used a fully AI-generated sample.
How you feel about that? How do you feel about that? You know what? I got a very specific message. I've been thinking about this video for a few days. I got a very specific message for those of you that are going to come in here with your god-awful AI art where it smooths your skin out so unrealistically. You've jacked the HDR up so damn crazy, you can't even tell it's you. You got facial hair that your barber could never cut in real life. You got a space background, but you ain't never left the boundaries of your city. But you all of a sudden a damn astronaut. One of you with your ugly ass profiles. Come here with your AI picture. Let's talk. Let's talk human to prompter for a second. Think about this. Your embrace of AI may feel like you are forward thinking. Your embrace of AI as a non-musical AI music prompter may feel like, man, I'm ahead of even professionally trained musicians, professionally trained writers and rappers, and I don't know why they don't get it. This is almost like when CDs were taking over tapes and people were still trying to hold on to their 8 tracks and tapes. This is not that, sir. This is a very different beast. The very nature of the product that you're embracing came off of the blood, sweat, and tears and actual work years of studying. Some have gone to school to develop their skill set. Some have created multitudes of albums to become the artists that they are and find their signature sound. Some have gone through the proper channels to copyright it, and their government has failed them because they allowed these AI companies to use the entire internet without full permission from the people who actually created the art. Tens of millions of songs. They allowed them to develop their product based upon the talent and the skill set and the years of dedication of DJing, of engineering, of performing live, of strengthening your voice, of going to vocal classes. And they've given you access because somebody said, we should gamify the music experience. And now you are so drunk on AI. It's like AI is like a baddie that you can't believe she's dating you. She's not dating you for your looks. Absolutely not for your musty armpits. You use a dish rag from underneath the toilet and you ain't never walked down. We talk about that later. She don't like you, but you're convinced. Oh man, I embraced her first. Of course she loves me. What is your skill set, sir? For those of you that are so pro AI with your ugly ass AI pictures, what is your actual skill set? Well, it's my ability to describe things. Okay. It's my ability to curate musical experiences. I have a good ear, Curtis, a great ear for music. Okay. What are you doing with that skill set? Well, I'm having conversations with AI. I am prompting. I'm putting together words on a website. Okay. Do you pay a subscription to this company? Well, absolutely. Because my motto is, Curtis, if you don't use AI, you'll be replaced by the person that does. I'm that person that does. Okay, interesting. So what you're telling me is you're paying to give away the only skill set that you have, which is music curation. Your musical taste, you're now giving away. And you're convincing me, the very people who made this technology to replace real musicians, don't think that you're replaceable? They don't even like you. You're detestable. You don't have a skill set. That skill set can be absolutely replaced. At least with a human being, there's nuance, there's human error, there's the ability to evolve and go in different directions. What is your skill set? And what are you going to do when you've given enough prompts for that machine data to do it without you, where they can do you better than you? Where do you go now? I'm going to tell you, after that, you're going to be stuck with us. After you've done all this showboating, all this parading around the city like this, you see my baddie, you see my baddie? She going to cheat on you. And when she cheat on you, we're going to look you right in the eye and say, you stupid. You stupid. You stupid. You stupid. They don't need you. Them people going to use you worse than they used us. Because you think you actually have a skill set. Now, if you're even referencing ChatGPT to improve upon your prompts, who's really in control? Just something to give some thought to, because you... Now, you and your little spaceman rocket AI photo, get your ass up.
Curtis, K-I-Wire.